It took the parliament like ours to come up and tell this government whether we can appease these terrorists or that we can go after these terrorists. Lives have been lost. Imagine if any one of us has a daughter now in captivity in Kebbi. Will you be sleeping? Is it possible for you to survive when your own daughter is taken? And because these daughters are not ours, we begin to be political and lackadaisical in meeting the expectations of our people. It's a bad day for me, sir.
Criminal terrorist groups that invaded Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, which is in Danko, Wasagu local government area, and in Kebbi South Senatorial District of Kebbi State. The terrorist group, despite some police action, which was not enough to deter what they were about to do, invaded this girls' school and in the process abducted 25 girls, young girls, killing the vice principal of the school and wounding the principal in the process. This dastardly act was committed by the terrorists yesterday at about 4 p.m. This one-time kidnapping of schoolgirls, Mr. President, is a slap on the face of our nation. The continuous dastardly action of terrorist groups terrorizing our educational institutions and abducting young students not only undermines the quality of our education, but also deters parents from sending their children and wards to school. This kind of action has happened before. In 2022, I think, some girls were kidnapped, also in Kebbi State, in government secondary school in Yauri. It took the state and our people 4 years, 4 good years, to completely get the girls back. And now it is happening again. Mr. President, I feel deeply hurt. This kind of terrorization of our students, our children, must stop. That's why I call this a slap on the face of this nation. We cannot just allow this kind of situation to continue like that. Something must be done. I know that at one point, when there was this security threat in the Kebbi South Senatorial District, in particular that area, that school was closed. Some sanity was brought back, and somehow we thought everything, there was halal. So the school was reopened again, only for this thing to happen yesterday. This particular matter should be taken very, very seriously by the federal government and our security agencies. We should move immediately to rescue these girls and apprehend the terrorists who had the audacity of carrying out this dastardly operation. While praying for the quick recovery of the wounded principal, I also want this distinguished Senate to observe a minute's silence in honor of the deceased vice principal of this school. I feel, Mr. President, deeply hurt. Indeed, yesterday, when this thing happened, I couldn't sleep. This is not just something happening or affecting Kebbi State, Mr. President. It is a wake-up call for the integrity, for the sake of the soul of this nation. We cannot just afford this kind of thing again. A nation that cannot secure not just its people, but its own children. A nation that cannot secure its own children is not worth living in.
Security and protection of the lives and property of the people is the primacy of governance. And the social contract that we have, that government has with the people, for the people to surrender their sovereignty to the whims and caprices of the government, is in return for the government to guarantee peace, order, and good governance, and also to protect their lives and property. That is essentially the social contract that government has with the people. I am happy that Mr. President immediately took action by directing the military to go after these terrorists with a view to rescuing these girls back to their respective communities. And Mr. President immediately acted because government is about protecting the lives and property of the people, and this parliament being the repository of the mandate of the people, and also responsible to the yearnings and concerns of the people, will equally pass a resolution and give muscular support and expression to this motion, so that the relevant authorities will rise up to the occasion and bring back these girls. Because anything short of that, one, it is going to negatively impact enrollment into school and confidence in government.
This kind of calamity befell on little school children while on our watch. And I say our watch because we are 7 senators of this federal republic. Where have we gone wrong as a nation? That young students who go to school to seek and acquire knowledge, to develop their communities, to develop this very nation, are no longer safe. I call on this Senate to pass a resolution. We call the security agencies. Once again, we have done that severally, but this time in a more determined manner. We ask what resources they require to prosecute this war. We provide those resources, but we also give ultimatums that if nothing is achieved, they will step down or there will be consequences, because we cannot go on like this.
There's a lot of areas in this country that are ungovernable. We have a lot of forests, nothing is happening. Arable lands, nothing can be done. And this is the consequences of what we are seeing. We see little children being abducted. We have not closed the issue of Chibok girls till today. We have not closed that. The government is doing everything humanly possible. But I think there is need for all of us now to have a relook, to relook at what we are doing, have a rethink of what we are doing. We should look as individuals, as Nigerians, what has gone wrong, just as my colleague have just said. What has gone wrong? The policies are there. The funding is there. What is the problem? Today, Do we have traditional rulers? If we have them, are we giving them the opportunity to play a role in our communities? Have we identified these people that are coming to kill our people and kidnap our people? Have we identified where are they? Where are they coming from? If then we know, why is it that we are not doing anything to apprehend these people, to expose them? Not until with every one of us, every Nigerian take this law very seriously, to partner with the armed forces, to partner with the government, to see that we expose whoever, no matter the level of your status in society, expose who has a hand in what. We can't continue like this.
We are facing an existential threat collectively as people. And by the time we begin to procrastinate and say it is this group against this group, it is this religion against this religion, the event of the last few weeks has proven to all Nigerians that these attacks comes to any Nigerian, irrespective of tribe, region, and religion. And therefore, Mr. President, the more we begin to see ourselves as being victims of these terrorists, the better for all of us. Yesterday, we lost a general, Brigadier General Uba Musa, and the videos being circulated. And 24 hours after, you saw what happened in Kebbi. What we are missing is that these people have taken advantage of our infallibility to keep getting at us. Now we are being saddled with a responsibility going forward. Are these terrorists appeasable? Can we reach out to them? There are one school of thought who imagined that these terrorists could be reached and then discussions take place. There is another school of thought who thinks that these terrorists should be met with all the force required to meet them. And that is the entanglement, Mr. President, we are in.
We cannot afford to play politics with issues of security. Security remains one of the key and most important ingredient for the survival of any community. And once there is a security threat, it is expected that all of the members of a particular community should come together and bond and face that threat. That is what I expect from this parliament. That's what I expect from Nigerians. We must de-emphasize the issues of religion and ethnicity while dealing with matters of insecurity. If we do not do that, the tendency is that we are falling into the trap of enemies of this country. And we know ourselves, and we know what is going on. I therefore charge every Nigerian to come together, bond together, and make sure that we move side by side in facing and confronting all of these challenges facing this country. Mr. President, this is a very serious matter. It has been recurring, and in Kebbi, Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, Kaduna, Niger, Plateau, Benue, many parts, virtually every part of Nigeria today is facing one form of insecurity or the other. And unless we're able to come together and work together, we may not find solution to it. I admonish the government of Kebbi State to maybe borrow a leaf from what we did during our service in Sokoto State. We were forced by the circumstances of that time to relocate so many schools, merge some boarding schools, and deboard some of the schools. Maga is in Zuru Emirate, and Zuru Emirate has been facing this very particular challenge over time, since the time of Atiku Bagudu till now. So I admonish the government of Kebbi State to consider deboarding some of these schools and making some of them where they have day schools as day schools, and then taking some of them out of security-prone areas, challenge-prone areas, to a safer environment. I believe that will help. And I call on federal government to go back to what we have been saying. As governors of Northern Nigeria then, we have been calling for concerted and coordinated fight. Their template of attacking these bandits, either in Kebbi or in Zamfara or in Katsina or Niger or Plateau or Benue, in silos, will not work. It's not working. It has to be a coordinated effort and making sure that maybe it's done simultaneously. And it can be done.
What has happened in Maga is simply the kind of situation that we face in almost every part of this country. Just like one of our colleagues mentioned, about 2-3 days ago, a general was murdered in Borno State. A general and his team who were working, fighting insurgency, fighting to protect us. It is very important here, Mr. President, that we address the security situation very squarely. This administration is making a lot of investment in the security sector. I believe that with a lot of money, funds, and resources going into our armed forces, we should be asking for better outcomes. We should be looking at time frames. It shouldn't be an endless war against the insurgents. Can we really afford to fund our armed forces and other security agencies better, given the fact that we now have more revenues than before, and insist on value for money? Or else we look for others who can do it better. I also want to suggest that the relevant committees of the Senate investigate what has happened to the safe school initiatives. Because this program was at the beginning working, but no one talks about it anymore. What can we do to protect our children and wards when they go to school? Mr. President, Nigeria has been taken more than 40, 50 years back educationally because of the insurgency factor in northern Nigeria. And I said Nigeria has been taken back, not northern Nigeria. Because what happens in any part of our country affects the other parts. And it is very important that because these children are our future, we have to do everything possible to ensure that we improve on the security situation generally, but come up with something that will ensure that parents feel comfortable, feel that their children will be protected when they go to school. Otherwise, the dropouts, the withdrawal of kids from schools will continue, and the future of Nigeria will be compromised.
This issue is one that many people don't want to contribute to anymore. Such matters come to this chamber.
Something.
But there are ones that you will see, you must be constrained to talk. This kidnap of 25 school girls and the murder of the vice principal of that school brings to the fore that no matter what we say, it is a security issue. People who are charged with this responsibility are the people who gear up in their actions. They were kidnapped yesterday or thereabouts. They didn't vanish to the thin air when they were taken away. They were taken away, they're still on the ground, being moved about. So I believe that the security agencies should deploy technology. Even from far places, you can locate these children where they are. The technology we have today makes it possible for tracking to be done. So we are talking, a day has gone, next 2 days, these girls will not be found. So the security agencies should deploy everything. The armed forces cannot protect every square foot of space in Nigeria. They should do mapping.
The last time we were about to have election, Chibok girls were kidnapped. And so many, they were far more than this. And then at that time, we were in denial as government because we were saying, how can they take 100, 200 or whatever girls and move and nobody sees? What did they use in conveying them? But after weeks and weeks of going back and forth, we finally discovered that, yes, indeed, it happened. So now, we are now faced with another one. And coming at a time like this, when there's a lot of focus by the international community on Nigeria, I think it's important that we go into the prayers without discussing much. Because we have an opportunity to discuss at the Security Summit, to get the views of Nigerians, compile them, and then come up in December when we are doing the National Security Summit.
Urge the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Commander-in-Chief to recruit additional 1,000 men into the Nigerian Army so that we have enough men and women in uniform to cover the entire country. And number two, that we probe the amount disbursed in the name of Safe School Program. How much was spent? Who collected the money? What did they do with it? Because now we have seen, Mr. President, as additional prayer, people have turned security to a business. So we should not monetize the debt of people by those who are living by appropriating funds in the name of protecting schools, and as we know now, the schools are not protected. What happened to the money?